Podcast with Victor Pacheco. Hello and welcome to Papicock Podcast with your host, Victor Pacheco. We got a very great show for y'all today. We are very honored and privileged to have the very talented comedian. You know her from, or you've seen her from America's Got Talent, the very funny Vicki Barbolak.
Hi, Victor.
Hey, how you?
Listen, I'm running a little behind, so I'm having to put on my lashes now because right after we have this interview, I got to go down to the theater. I'm at the Luxor hosting the AGT, so if you don't mind.
The Luxor. Oh, that's awesome. Hosted AGT. That's the AGT theater. Is that correct?
It's the Luxor theater, and it's the AGT Live Show. You are so lucky you're a dude and you don't have to do this.
Oh my God.
All over my face, and I have to start almost again. Ridiculous. No, it is. I really shouldn't have tried to do this while I'm talking. But anyway, yeah, it's AGT live shows are here at the Luxor in Las Vegas, and I'm hosting, and it's a really fun show. I'm just having a ball, and right now there's clouds. Can I turn the phone and show you guys what Vegas looks like today?
Absolutely.
It's cloudy and beautiful.
I've never heard the words cloudy and beautiful used together to describe the scenery, but that is
really. I love clouds. They make me look thinner.
I've never heard that. I never heard that.
Who are you talking to, Victor?
How do clouds make you
have a dark shadow on you instead of the blinding sun, and you look thinner in the dark?
Oh, okay.
I can't believe you don't know that.
I didn't know that. Like for me, it's like summer's the equalizer for yes, everybody because everybody's sweating out of breath.
Everyone's fatter in summer, but it just cool, and that's why I'm late. I spent too much time at the pool because it was so nice and cool here. It's like 90 and it's beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, it's 90 and it's cloudy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, they have the typhoons there in Las Vegas too. So that's like for me, I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's all desert. Of course they have to have, some rains going on and all that good stuff. But
floods, yeah.
So how you doing today, Vicki?
I'm just great. I'm happy to be here. I was in Williamsburg, Virginia, the last 10 days doing a show at SeaWorld. And that was really fun, but it was super humid, but really nice people. So many cool people. I had a great time, but it's just, I'm so surprised to be in Las Vegas when it's so pleasant, when I was expecting, sun, living on the sun. So just weather somehow or another does affect us. I think like you get a little weather break, whoopee.
Yeah, I've been to some like summer shows when the sun is out and it's a beautiful day and nobody comes to the comedy show because
it's much better in the winter.
Oh, absolutely.
Last night, there's 2 shows a night here at AGT Live, and last night on my second show, I have to do 2 acts in each show. Mm-hmm. I told the same joke twice. I told another joke. I told it the earlier joke, and the whole audience is like 3,000 people there, and they just look at me like, Vicki, you're telling it again. They yelled at me. I'm like, oh, are you that kind of audience that expects a fresh new joke with every show?
That people don't understand that though. Non-comedians don't understand that. That's why I was laughing right now, because it's just like when you do more than one show a night, especially when it's at the same venue, you're like, sometimes you have like deja vu moments. Did I tell this story already? Did I not tell this story already? And it's messed up because sometimes the headliner will catch your first set of the night and then riff off of it during the second act, but then you didn't do the same set. So they're like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like,
it's so funny. And they're just like 6-minute sets, so it's pretty lame that I could have managed to do that. But I think I was just so tired because I'd done 28 shows last week in Williamsburg, and they were, different. And I have no excuse, but it was one of those moments. And I went outside to see the audience after, because I had to walk through them, and they were all just being so nice, but I tried to put my bag literally on my head to get through, but they all recognized my leopard dress. So
oh my God. That's like when a fat guy tries to conceal their laughter, and they put their hand over their face and the fat body's jiggling. It's just
exactly.
Like it's
totally like that. But
Oh my God. No,
they're yelling, hardly noticed, Vicki.
no, Vicki, you're really hilarious. I want to tell the people at home that I met you, and actually I didn't meet you. I saw you for the first time live in July of 2017 at La Jolla Comedy Store, and it was one of those showcase nights where everyone does like 7 to 8 minutes or something like that. And it was one of those rough crowds. It was like really like it was hard to get laughs, and then Vicki walks up in there and closes out the show and just schmurders. I've described it as schmurdering, where it's beyond murdering. It's a schmurder.
That's my very first club. That's my home, and I just feel so at home in that room. But that's such a special room. That was Sam Kinison's favorite room, and it's just, I don't know, it's got a magic to it that's just so special to me, and I love it. Did you enjoy your first show there, even though you had to work?
I definitely I enjoy anywhere where I have to work, because I actually especially there, because I had to come back the next night, and I actually bombed that night, and I was like, you know what guts is? Coming back to the venue the next day, and like such a legendary venue too. And then I'm nervous, like I'm like, oh, are they gonna cancel me? Was it that bad? But thank goodness I was able to redeem myself the next day, and I actually had a really good set. And I met your husband Lou, who I didn't know was your husband, but he made me cry because he's a pianist at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, and he was playing What a Wonderful World, and it really got to me. And it's just like, it's like, don't make me cry so close to stage time. It's so close. Like
that he would play such a sad song, and now the comedy show.
But he played it so elegantly and beautifully. It was like really like you could feel his soul. I was like crying. I was like, oh God, thank God I'm not in the green room right now, because otherwise all these comics like, what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, I got in a fight with my girl. It's definitely not this song. But
yeah, people have to play that at their weddings. Okay, Victor, I had to give up on this lash. So I got a bunch of cotton burr in it when I got the glue all over my face. Oh, no. That's why I told you I had to start now. It takes me like 1 hour to put on 2 lashes. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
And nobody even cares. Nobody even notices if I have them on. I don't even know why I tried.
Oh my God. I mean, some dudes notice it. I mean, I notice it like if they're like really like sprinkly and stuff, but I don't know. I didn't even know women wore makeup till I was a teenager.
Oh, that's so cool.
I just thought everybody was naturally beautiful.
Everybody, yeah. And what I really hate is when women go, oh, I don't, or men, they go, I like women that look natural. And I want to just punch them because, yeah, you know how much these women are spending to look natural? A lot. They're covered in bare minerals and all kinds of secret makeup, you idiots.
Absolutely. And then the shape modifying of the bodies, there's butt pads that the men and women put in to make their butts look all supple and big and round. And I'm a big girl, so I get on these fat ladies mailing lists for all these catalogs. Mm-hmm. I got a catalog that had a butt enhancer size 5XL. 5XL. Who needs to go like over XL? Who is going to buy the 5XL? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like you can't a doorway with a 5XL butt enhancer. There are 5XL people with no butts. I'm being one of them. So maybe that's where I have to order.
Well, Victor, I'll purchase you some next time I see them on sale for $13.99. They were very.
No. I'm not one of those type of guys. I'm more like no. I don't wear any like prosthetics, shall we say?
What if you did, and it changed your life, and you have me?
Okay, well, my beard, for example, I grew out my beard to be more masculine before the pandemic, before everybody grew out their beard to be popular. Right. And I've gotten the most compliments I've ever gotten. Like my bookings even changed because of it. I'm just like, shit, I must have been really ugly before the fucking beard. Now that I'm a different dude.
You're right. Is it a lot of work to maintain?
No, it's not. It's actually, it's almost idiot proof. Just sometimes like I mess up the line and I go really short right here. So I got like one of those little shit stained mustaches that then have to match to the rest of my beard that connects right here. And And then I'm like, man, I looked ridiculous. And I get a lot of compliments. Man, that looks really nice, dude. How did you get it so thin? I'm like, I fucked up shaving. It's a horrible thing.
You know, that's another good thing about being a dude. Like I didn't know I'm 64 and nobody told me that, one day I was going to grow a beard. I mean, they told me, your eyes are going to go bad, but your aunts, your mother, they never mentioned the beard. And during COVID, you couldn't get waxed. And I started using a man's razor. I was like, my doctor told me that I have the same testosterone level as a 19-year-old dude at my age. So
Really?
like, all I want to do is like drink beer and bang chicks, grow this beard. I had to get an electric razor during COVID. And the first time I plugged it in, it was horrifying. I was like, my balls were in the sink. It was the worst thing I ever had to do.
Oh my God. I just want to just state for the record how because that's like really like a lot of information that a lot of people would not share. We're not sharing in a million years. And you made it hilarious, relatable. And I love it. It's fucking, it's awesome. It makes me feel so, I'm sorry. It's like messing. It's
horrible. Like in Berkeley, you go to Berkeley and the women proudly wear their beards, and they look like you. They look like very trim. You can't see their double chins. Like I have like 5, 6 chins. If I could afford to live in Berkeley, I would just grow this bitch out.
Oh, you would have a whole different type of fan base too, like in addition to the fan base you have.
Exactly. And we could go to beard shows and
yeah.
Berkeley's
a weird place. I did a show in Berkeley and it was an all ages show. And it was all adults, but there was a mom with her like 11-year-old kid that was reading a book before the comedy show in Berkeley, California. And I'm like, oh shit, this crowd's gonna hate me. And then they actually really did like me. It was just like the woman said, the producer, she was very, 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 very adamant about, okay, Victor, I know you're a dirty comic, but you can only say fuck once. I was like, okay, cool.
Once.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Funny.
Okay, cool.
I usually like, no, you can't say hell even. They give you one fuck, then you got to remember if you did it. That's a lot of stress.
I get it out real early. Real early. Quick pander to the crowd. Like especially in dicey situations. Oh my God. Okay, what are you holding up right there? That was
Victor. Since I have to start again, do you like these better or these better?
I like the first ones. I like the first. Yes, those ones are cool. I feel like that's the compliments I get on my eyelashes when people give me compliments on my eyelashes. Like, you have really pretty eyelashes. I was like, yeah, say I have supple breasts too. Okay, thank you.
That's beautiful. Men that have beautiful eyelashes. Like God gives you better eyelashes than us. So unfair.
Yeah,
this is what I would look like if I did grow the beard out. So give you a small idea.
That's a little flavor saver right there.
Yeah.
For later.
That was so much work to maintain. I would never.
Oh my God. Yeah, that little flavor saver though, that one's a tough one though, because like it's a triangle. And like if you mess it up, it has to be, I don't know, I have OCD though too. And so like it just needs to be even. But yeah, I had some things I wanted to ask you if it was cool. That because you're such a cool, awesome person. You're really like humble and down to earth. And so like I'm a dude in comedy. What can I do to make the scene safer for women?
Well, I think you just be who you are and you don't have to do anything else. You're wonderful. And if there's, I think we can take care of ourselves now. I think there was so few of us for so long, and there were girls getting, I have this one dear friend, she quit comedy because somebody who I actually know, but I didn't know it till years later that he told her, he goes, you're not funny. Maybe I could fuck some funny into you. And that was just, he really thought he could. That's how, and he's a guy that I have to see every now and then. But a bunch of guys did actually step up for her a little bit, but she still actually left comedy because she just felt badgered out. And there was a bunch of girls who actually confronted the management of the Comedy Store about 15 years ago because there was such a darkness for a moment there. And I just, I'm glad there's so many more women doing it now. It's just there's safety in numbers, and there's people like you that are, that are just treated, we're equal humans. Comedy is not, I might think women are naturally funnier than men, but that's just my personal belief. I'm not saying it's absolutely true, but I mean, we are communicators. We have more of a communicative part of our brain. So, I just think that we have a lot to offer. We have as much as men, of course. And yeah, it's definitely getting better.
Sorry.
No.
Oh no, because because you said that statement that women are funnier than men, but there's some men that think that women are not funny, and I think that comes from well, first of all, it comes from insecurity, but just the fact that that they are supposed to be funny, in order, like men are supposed to be funny, and so when the woman is funnier, they are really intimidated by this happening to them, that in their mind, in their really sexist, misogynistic mind. I don't know. I don't want to figure it out as much as I just want to heal it.
Exactly. I think people are like, oh, like in any field, is a woman going to take my spot? I think it's going to naturally change, because naturally more women are being pilots, naturally more women are running businesses, naturally more women are doing comedy, and naturally men are going, you know what? It's not a big deal after all. We thought it was, because you feel threatened, evolutionary wise. And when I say women are funnier than men, I really don't believe that, but I believe that our brains have a bigger capacity for communication, because they studied the brain, and our communicate. That's why we talk so much, and sometimes people say too much. So we really are bigger communicators. So you'd think that would transfer to comedy. Plus they've done studies, we have a higher sense of what's funny, although I'm a big fan of fart jokes myself. So
fart jokes are funny though, but I just
poop jokes, can't get enough. I fall down. I can't stop. I saw a woman, my brother and I, a couple of years ago, were in San Marino, and this lady was pushing her baby in a baby cart, and the cart literally slowly tipped over, and the baby rolled out of the cart like a cantaloupe.
Oh shit.
And Mark and I were unable to offer assistance because we were doubled over laughing.
Okay, that's only hilarious when it's not your kid. It's
I would probably been laughing if it was my kid, but it was.
Sorry. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Terrible.
Incredible. Horribly hilarious. Yeah, that's physical humor is cool too. Especially, I don't know, I've actually fallen and injured myself, and have had people mock me, and then then I'm praying, I'm like, why isn't our state open, Carrie? I would have shot these fucking guys for laughing at me. It's different. If nobody gets hurt, it's different. Somebody
right. They didn't get hurt. It was just, hilarious.
It was just an accident, a happy accident.
It's not like she rolled into the street and the car crushed her. She just took a few.
Is this the justification you gave to the mom of the infant? Just want to know.
Mother was looking at her horrified, and we couldn't agree with her more, but there was nothing we could do.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's all about being at the right place at the right time, which is I think would be a good transition to my next question. That Mitzi Shore noticed you at the Comedy Store and helped you with your development as a comic. What are some of the lessons or advice that Mitzi gave you, with either developing as a comedian or as a writer, that turned you into the monster performer that you are today? Because you are incredibly talented, beast-like headliner.
She never said very much. These are the major things I remember that she physically said to me. Like
Okay.
like I would get to go to her house and have lunch and talk with her about family and her past and history of her life. And I was always just like amazed that I was all in those positions. But in terms of like giving me comedy advice, the only thing she said was always make sure you have a run in your stockings. She thought that was really funny. And then she would constantly, when she put you in the lineup, she wanted me to be bigger and bolder. So she always made me open for like 3 years. I opened the main room. So I would learn how to be more conversational and open and get away from my jokes all the time. And then every like few months, she'd give me the 3rd or 4th spot and I would just murder. And then she goes, well, that's where you are. And then the next week I go back to opening and then she'd put you after, like, she'd put me up after George Wallace. And I remember George Wallace just looking at me and going, good luck. And
oh my God.
I don't remember my set at all. I just remember that. And I just ran into him in Atlanta and I reminded him of that. I love that. But no, she was just so clever how she would put you in spots that would be the give you the greatest growth and care about you like that.
The greatest roast. That's funny. Oh, I didn't know she was roasting comics. That's so funny because like I saw the show on Showtime that's based on the Comedy Store. I'm dying up here, Goldie at Goldie's. And so I'm just like, did this really happen or how did it go down? So it's just like, it's really incredible to talk to the people that were actually there. And you got some FaceTime with Mitzi. You got to go to her house. And that's like pretty awesome. And
yeah. I remember the first time I went there, we went out to, she let me drive her Jaguar, which I was terrified of, to Hamburger Hamlet. And we had talked a lot. And then we go back to her house and she goes, now you go upstairs for a nap and go in the first bedroom on the right. And I go to she lived in Dorothy Lamore's old mansion, beautiful house. And I go upstairs, but I don't know right or left. So I can't tell right or left when I get to the stairway. It's a hall. So I don't want to mess up the wrong bed. So I laid on the cold tile floor for 2 hours and waited. But I was so happy to be there. I actually fell asleep on the tile and then I went and did my set. But she was just so special and so beautiful and cared about comics so much.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, with the development of comedians, I feel like that's not happening anymore. Like everybody wants like Insta results, Insta everything. And so everything with like, I don't know, going viral on TikTok. And then, you know, these people that go to perform at stand-up comedy clubs. And I don't know, it's like a whole different vibe. It's like a Q&A more so than a comedy show. In some cases, but then there's some internet comedians that are actually funny. But I don't know, like I want to know how did being on America's Got Talent and being a finalist change your life? Because it's one thing being on America's Got Talent, you're a finalist and you came out. I mean, you didn't come out, but you were in a bikini during the final, and I lost my shit, and I was like, oh my God, she did not. Yes, she did. That is hysterical. I hope I'm not ruining anything for anybody, but that was so funny. It was so great. And it just takes a lot of sorry.
I mean, I heard you. When you get on the show, if you're lucky enough to get in the finals, and that was my dream. After my first performance, which I can't even believe I didn't get buzzed off that. When I first performance, I got a taste. I said, you know, God, maybe I could make the finals. And I just worked so hard, focused everything I had to make those finals. I worked my tail off. I did hundreds of 2-minute sets all over the place. And then I made the finals. People were so good and voted for me. And then, but you have 1 week between the semifinal and the final. And I shot my last clean wad of good material on the semifinal. I thought I would save this for the final. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? If you don't get something good now, you won't make it to the final. So literally I had 1 week and I had nothing. So then I remembered when I did Funniest Mom in America, I did this joke. I go, I'm very disappointed. I thought the final was going to be a bathing suit competition, but I left it at that. Never even considered taking off my clothes. So for AGT, I'm like, maybe I could do that, but actually take off my clothes. And NBC executives said, no way. And it took like 3 days to convince them. Like, oh, it'd be really empowering for big women. I was just bullshitting because I had nothing else.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
finally
Oh.
go, yeah. And then this guy, the head guy goes, okay, it's going to be a yes with condition. I'm like, I'll do anything. He goes, you have to have a one-piece bathing suit. I'm like, are you kidding? Do you really think I'm going to jump out in a thong, you idiot? But the great thing was, I mean, and this guy, Kevin, he stayed up all night to make me the perfect dress that didn't look like a robe, because the first thing they made me look like a robe and it was going to ruin the joke. And this costume guy, Kevin, stayed up all night and made this fabulous rip away dress that looked just like a dress. And the next morning when I woke up, I told Lou, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm too afraid. It's too stupid. And then I remembered Kevin staying up all night for me. So I'm like, oh, I got to do it for Kevin. So I did it. And then what happened was I didn't win, but of course, but I got all these thousands of messages from people immediately saying, Vicki, right on. But Lily, my daughter, was watching my Twitter that night. She goes, Mom, you got to see this one tweet. It said, Vicki tweet. It said, all my life I've been overweight. I've been so depressed. I didn't think I could go on. And then tonight I saw you, someone even fatter than me in a bathing suit. And it made me really. And I'm like, Lily, let me see that phone. Let me see how much bigger I am. But that made me so happy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then,
why did she throw you under the bus though? Why did she throw you under the bus? Jesus Christ.
Okay.
It was
okay.
the fact that you're laughing about it it's a testament to your character. That's so.
Daughter thought it was hysterical. And then what I heard a lot was when I walked it, the gay community also was important to me. They've been my big supporters my whole life. And I heard that night when I walked in front of like 20 million people in that bathing suit, I heard I brought a lot of straight men over to the gay community.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Jesus.
I've heard.
Okay, well, I was gonna say that reaffirmed my heterosexuality is all I'm gonna say.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Well, you're among the few.
And the proud, but but yeah, no, it was just yeah, my wife is plus size. That's my genre, preferred genre. So it's just, with I don't know, it's just like I don't know, this hashtag body positive, and then you see these plus size ladies on social media saying hashtag body positive. Would you go out with a plus size chick? And then, like fat guys like me are like, yeah, but would you date a fat guy like me? And they're like, ew, gross. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, you're not even living up to the same standard you have.
I think all body positive means is your clothes are too tight. And
Vicki Barbolak explains the world in social media.
Also, like, I get so mad when I'm in, like, if anybody like is around Los Angeles and you see all those billboards for Torrid, the stores for the fat.
Yeah.
And these billboards are like, sexy comes in all sizes. And then they have a bunch of girls in white, ugly t-shirts and jeans. No one looks good in that. And I'm like, I get so offended that they're being so condescending to the fat. We don't need your condensation. We don't need your stupid billboards. Either you want to fuck a fat chick or you don't, okay? You cannot convince somebody to do it. They want to or they don't. I've tried. It doesn't work. That drives me. And you're right. You're not going to see a bunch of ads for jockey for men plus size. We're not going to see a bunch of big bellies hanging on a billboard in LA. But women, it's driving me crazy. I'm like, just shut up. We are. We don't need your help, Torrid.
Well, I don't know. It's all about self-love. You have to love yourself and let the whole world know how in love you are with yourself, that you're not perfect. And guess what? Now you're empowered because you're part of a hashtag. You're part of a hashtag community. You're part of this, so you can be part of the status quo. It's like with cancel culture, people that got no power controlling their lives whatsoever. It's like, oh, I could get you fired from your job for what you just did or what you just said or how you just wronged me. And so with cancel culture, that's just like us comedians are got to be sometimes careful about when you say a certain joke. And so how is cancel culture affecting comedy? And have you been affected by cancel culture?
Well, I haven't really, I like when I speak about fat women and I feel like I can because I am that woman and I could talk from my heart, but I don't feel right, talking from an Asian woman perspective. I don't, because I am not. And I understand lately the violence and stuff, I don't have a problem for me kind of backing off from just being a little more careful. Like, don't, you know, I used to like appropriate a lot of different like accents or feelings or whatever, and now I'm kind of like, oh, we can't do that, and I'm like okay with it, but I'm also like trying to be careful not to stifle myself or even like limit myself too much, like personally decide for me that I can't do this or that. I'm trying to just stay, like talk about what I care about, and if what I care about might be a little offensive, it could be, but I think as long as you have the intention of love, it's good. But I'm thinking we're also nervous. I just don't want to over censor my own self, right?
Because that's part of that stifles the creative process, and it really is a form of censorship where you're not able to express yourself completely or entirely, because I don't know, it feels like a bit like it's disingenuous. So like either you just cut it out completely or just talk about something else, because like I don't know, like I stopped doing political jokes, they're too polarizing, and then like these big hick ass dudes want to beat the crap out of me, and so after the show, or like they're just mean mugging me the whole show because they hate Mexicans or they hate whatever the hell I am, and so it's just like I don't know, I've had these different experiences, so it's like I don't know, I just like really sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You don't want to, if it's getting in your way, being political. If you're a political comic, you're a political comic, and they come to see you because they know you're going to be a political comic. But nobody's coming to see Vicki Barbolak from my trailer park to hear me tell you my opinion on politics. So I've never, one time, Maz Jobrani said, Vicki, when I first saw you, I could tell you, I saw your political messages hidden in your comedy, and I really liked that. And I was like, that was nice to hear, but that I hide little messages. Mostly it's about just everybody being equal, everybody deserving to breathe the same air. That one is not better than the other of all of us.
Yeah, I think that's a great message, and especially it's from love. And like, the only people that like, sometimes I'll be in the moment and refer to myself as a thick spick named Vic, which is funny because it rhymes and whatever.
Yeah.
Only complaints I've ever got, white women. I never had a Mexican come up to me, and I've said that at all Mexican shows with like 500 people. And like, I didn't get one complaint like, hey, that was funny, bro. It wasn't like, hey, bro, I'm gonna get you canceled, bro. It's just, I don't know. So
easy of somebody who's white could tell you what you can talk about, because ridiculous.
That's exactly what's happening. I mean, with me specifically, like I almost got fired from a show because I said a story about choking out my wife during sex, which my wife turned me on to. It wasn't my idea, it was her idea. And so and I presented it like that in the story. And, she wrote a very long, damaging email about me and my personality, and like, I perpetuate misogyny, and why are you giving this guy a platform to speak his rhetoric against women? Guys like him are the reason for feminicide,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, whatever, the killing of women. And it's just like I'm stuttering with these words, but it's like she was saying all these things. It's like Victor gets all of his ideas about rough sex from watching violent porno, and it's like, no. Didn't you hear the part where my wife forced me and bullied me into changing my hand from her hip onto her throat? Like, I'm the victim here. Like, fuck you. Don't try to fucking cancel me. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so it's, of course, like, that's not a clean joke. Of course, it's nothing for TV, for, ABC, right. Especially.
You're in a comedy club.
Comedy club. Yes. And so, but even
a sacred spot, I think. I mean, and you said that your wife asked you to do it, and that woman just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And, I dissect it in like, an analysis of that story, because it's just like, if I was a hot guy, she would have been like, yeah, I wish she chucked me out. But, I'm a fat guy with titties, so she doesn't want me to do that. And she probably, and I've seen videos where guys just with his arms crossed, just looking at me like, nah, bro. No, you would no one want to fuck you, bro. Nope.
That's
not even believable. Then I tell people, then after that, I'm like, so yeah, my day job, I'm a substitute teacher. They're like, okay, now we extra don't believe anything that you're saying. You know, it's just like, okay, I told this true story, and I'm telling another true story, and then they're like, we don't believe you. You're a fucking liar. So it's just like sometimes, like, but I've literally seen people with the arms crossed glaring at me like, you're lying. Stop lying. But like, you know, it's not everybody, but I've seen it, you know, happen, and I've told that joke a lot of times. So it's just like, yeah, I've seen a lot of reactions to it. Usually it's good, but sometimes like, oh my God, that is not Christianly. It's like, yeah, well, how do you think you got here? But
Yeah.
you know, but
I, I think that it took me a long time to really set in my skin about talking about sex, so much that I don't get, people know that I'm so authentic about it. It's so in my core that I don't, even though you'd think at 64 years old, looking like this, I would get a lot of resistance. Everyone just rides along pretty much because it's so much who I am. And it's who I've been on stage for so long.
64, Jesus, I thought you were like in your early 50s, and I'm not just saying that. I really like, wow, that's awesome. You look great. And I'm not trying to objectify you or anything. I was just trying to give you a compliment from one friend to another.
I'm a senior.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. We'll go to Denny's together, and you're my younger sis, or get the discount. No, I'm just kidding. We'll go somewhere fancier. But yeah, there's what's it called? I don't know how to bring this up, so I'm just gonna just throw it at you. Okay, so I recently did my first real headliner set, like last week, where like 60 minutes set. Thank you. And when I got the light, it was a 2-minute light. I still had like 30 minutes of notes, like 30 minutes of material left without looking at my notes. So I was like, wow, hell yeah, this feels really good. This is really awesome. But like part of it feels like I was winging it. I wasn't really winging it because all this is material that I wrote myself during the pandemic, before the pandemic, since the pandemic, when comedy clubs started opening up again. And so I wanted to ask you, what makes an authentic headliner set?
Mostly, like Bill Hicks said, material is what you fall back on when you've got nothing else to say. So in a perfect world, you'd wing the whole thing and only have to go to your material a little bit, but that's a world that very few people live in. And if they say they are, they're probably faking it. But I mean, that's beautiful. And I think that's gorgeous. That's exactly where you want to be. You have a base of material and then you're just winging it. That's the goal. That's everything. I love it. You get on stage and you just start and you don't know where you're going. It's so beautiful. Trusting the comedy gods.
The gods were looking out because I was super nervous, almost canceled. That's how much the nerves were bothering me.
Yeah.
But lucky for me, I was drinking a lot of water because I knew I was going to be on stage. So I didn't want to get dehydrated or anything. So I kept going to the urinal and I kept realizing there's all these photos plastered of me on the wall on top of the urinal at eye level. So how many guys have touched their dicks while looking at me, making eye contact in the bathroom? Yeah. And so I ripped off one of those signs and I opened with that, and the crowd went crazy.
That's fabulous. See,
so it was. I was like,
I'm open when you opened to the room what is really going on. Then they know you're not a big faker. That's beautiful. Congratulations. That's amazing. You've done the work for a long time, and now you get the headline.
Thank you. So cool. I really appreciate that. And I wasn't trying to like, okay, how can I brag about headline? It's like, I'm a headliner. It's like, no, I did a headliner spot. I did my contractual obligated time, which for me, that's what I was shitting bricks about. It's like, oh, what happens if I forget? It's like, you're not going to forget you're a fat Mexican guy that likes to have sex with your wife elephant style. You're not going to forget that. You're not going to forget you're a substitute teacher. You're not going to forget you can make elephant sounds. You're not going to, you know that. Like,
I'm proud of you. I think the first time I headlined was for a weekend was in Arizona at this shit club in Phoenix. I mean, a shit club. And these dudes were running it. My friend Mo, she used to run the downtown comedy club, Garrett Morris's club. And she got me this job, my first headlining job. And so I was there, and I think the first night I did like 57 minutes. And then the owners got really mad at me. And then the second night, and I was doing well, but they were so mad about that. Then they go, and the next night I did like 58 minutes, and they're so fucking mad I didn't make 60 minutes. Then the third night, I made 60 minutes. It was the Sunday show. And after I finished my 60 minutes, because they came up and handed me a note. And it said, there's a fight in the lobby. You need to do some more time.
Oh my God.
They were just fucking with me. And I had exhausted anything I'd ever thought of in my life. I'm starting to take out pictures from my wallet of the dog. And so, but luckily there was this comic named Roberta Kent, who's still alive and kicking and is really funny. And she used to tell this long joke that Lou always told me, because she's like a meat and potatoes comic. She opened for Barry Manilow for 12 years, made a shitload of money. Anyway, she was like, she would tell like some street jokes. And Lou, this one street joke about this hooker, Lou always loved to tell street joke that Roberta would tell. So I remembered Roberta's street joke about a hooker, which you can extend to about 8 minutes. So I just laid into this hooker street joke, killed. And I went, fuck you, you fuckers. But
oh my God, yes. Then that was for the note. Yeah, that's because
so like very opposite of you. I certainly had nothing left after my first headliner experience.
Oh well, I was like 3 weeks, not 3 weeks, but I was like maybe like 2.5 months into comedy, and I did this. It was a bringer show, but it was a bringer show with a door deal. It was like, yeah, tickets are $10, but for every ticket you sell, you keep 5. But if you sell over 10 tickets, you keep all the money. So I sold 21 tickets, so I got paid $210, like less than 3 months into comedy. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm a professional comic. I'm gonna. Wow. Then I went to the Comedy Store and had like one of the best sets of my life. And I was like, holy shit, I'm really gonna make it. Then I went back to the Comedy Store 2 months later, and I literally almost committed suicide. I died so hard on stage, so hard. It was like not even a kick to the teeth. It was like a kick to the cranium, the soul, like everything. It's just like, okay, hold up. You're not a professional comic. You're just some, I don't know what you are. You just got lucky is what happened. Yeah. And you got people.
If you don't bomb in the beginning a whole lot, then you're just a robot and you're fake. You gotta go through a lot of bombing. I got way too into bombing in the beginning. My friends had to have an intervention, so I would stop.
Bombing Anonymous. Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. And like when you get a heart, like people are like, oh yeah, I've had a bad day or a bad week. It's like, shit, I've had a bad couple of months. Shit, I've almost had a bad fucking year. Thank God for this crowd. Otherwise, I mean, earlier on, or it's just like there was this one room where it was just like half half cafe, half laundry mat. So people would do the laundry with the family and then come on over to the other side and watch comedy, uncensored comedy. And there would be little kids there, and there'd be like pretty much like homeless, deranged lunatics on stage talking about dead hookers in front of the kids. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? There's like 4 people here and 2 of them are little kids. Why are you trying to scare them away? But at any rate, it's like full circle. And so, I was just, so with the headliner set, like, it was just like something that like, I didn't know I could do. It was like one of those, because the guy told me, how comfortable are you doing 60 minutes? And I didn't want to tell him I've never done 60 minutes before.
You do it all the time. Oh, that's
so
he shows at night.
No, but I was super impressed at the beginning of this podcast. I didn't even comment on it. You got up last week 27 or 28 times. Oh my God, that's like workhorse status. That is so incredibly amazing. Like getting up is really hard. Getting up that many times, like oh my God, like if you get up 20, that's 28 times in 1 week. That's so amazing. I don't know how you have the energy to do this podcast, do the shows you're doing tonight, and for the rest. Oh my God.
Twice last night, I think I really was burned out. I'm being really careful the next few days to get plenty of rest and make up for that, because not only was it there was 28 shows, there was 28 meet and greets, because that's my favorite thing. So I'm out in the Virginia heat and rain meeting the guests, and that was another half hour on every show, at least taking pictures, and that's my favorite. But that takes a lot of energy. That takes as much energy as the set. And so it was a lot, but I felt really great after because I did it, because like it's like, you felt great after your first headline set and you did it and you had leftover, and you feel like, wow, all these years doing what we do and working what we do, You know, it's like being a doctor and you don't kill everybody. Hey.
I've never heard that comparison in my life. That's so great. We didn't kill anybody. Yeah, we could doctor.
Kill anyone.
And then we're off.
Live.
Oh my God, Vicki, you're a treasure. You're really. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. I've never heard that before. Oh my God. I have a question. So obviously you have to be clean for America's Got Talent, ABC, which all that. Is your joke writing process for writing clean jokes and your joke writing process for writing dirty jokes the same or dirty or I mean, I'm sorry, different or is or what's your process?
I really write a lot of clean material for the SeaWorld show at Busch Gardens, those 28s, because I knew a lot of kids would be there. And so I try to write jokes from the ground up, and I did a couple from the ground up, like super grandma concept. And then otherwise, I kind of just take my regular jokes and modify them for an all-age audience. And that's a lot easier for me than to go out. I remember once when I 10 years into comedy, I couldn't get an agent, couldn't get a manager. I couldn't get anywhere. And I was sitting in my trailer. The kids went off to school and we were broke as hell. And I'm like, no agents would talk to me. Even after I won Funniest Mom in America, I couldn't get anybody. So then I was looking in this, I think that, what is it called? The thing for ICB, what is that? Whatever, where actors look for agents. And I was looking and all I could see was Christian comics wanted, Christian comics wanted, Christian comics wanted. And so I was so desperate. I sat down on my computer the whole time kids were at school trying to write a Christian comedy set so I could get an agent and make money. And after spending 8 hours, and I'm not kidding you, Victor, the only 2 jokes I came up with were, I always knew I'd grow up to be a Christian comic because I spent most of my high school years on my knees.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so hilarious. That's not Christian friendly.
And the second joke was, I'm so embarrassed. I sent my video to Oral Roberts University because I thought it was a school for hookers. And those are what I spent 8 hours trying to become a Christian comic.
Oh my God, this is too relatable. This is too relatable. I sit down and all I do is write blasphemous jokes about why God doesn't exist and why it's a huge racket. It's just so I'm like, I don't think this would be appropriate for a Christian show, but I just, yeah, we all have gone through times where we feel really, I don't know if desperate is the correct word, but yeah, desperate because it's like for work, because it's hard to get work. And like, I swear to God, like I tell people this, it's just like, hey, it might not seem like a lot of money, but this is comedy money. Making like any money from stand-up.
Like I'm Mitzi. Mitzi used to always give me one weekend in La Jolla host featuring for like 3 or 4 years. Even though the people in La Jolla hated seeing my face because she knew she paid $1,000 for that weekend. And she knew I had the girls and I had no other support. And so she always made sure I got that $1,000 weekend. And, my trailer space rent was $500. And then I do a few gay rooms for $75 or $100 or like a PTA fundraiser. I mean, that's what you have to do. And I remember thinking so many times, I'm just doing a real horrible job as a mother, putting my daughters through. I felt recently, I said to my daughter, somebody wants to do a story and they need a picture of you in your high school yearbook. She goes, oh, Mom, we couldn't afford a yearbook. I couldn't afford to buy a yearbook. And my heart sunk. I'm like, yeah, she goes, I told you it was uncool and I didn't want one. And I just felt like the worst person. I just said, oh, Emily, so sorry. She goes, Mom, she always tells me what a happy life they had growing up. And they're real successful because they had to be, but they had a lot of good times, but it was hard.
Absolutely. That's heart-wrenching. And that's, you have to sacrifice a lot to be a comedian for sure, and sleep and spending time with your loved ones. It's a hard thing. People don't understand, but just the passion for stand-up is so alluring. I went from being addicted to opioids to being addicted to stand-up, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the rewards from stand-up outweigh the reward. There's no rewards for opioids.
Yeah.
But I just really feel like everything. It's just so hard. I don't know. My heart goes out to you for having gone through that experience.
Yeah, but you know what? It's better than selling. I could have been wealthy. I could have kept my parents' stupid carpet store that I spent 20 years building.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, yeah, we would have had plenty of money. But yeah, you talk about misery, you know? Yeah, Emily would have had a yearbook, but would she have had a happy mom? Would we have had fun like we did? Would she have met all my comedy girlfriends and my gay comedy boyfriends and had so much fun? I mean, so we take that balance and we believe it, you know, and you know, this consumptive society, you know, we learned what really counts is having a great time, family time that's free. Mm-hmm. We were like, you know, and all their, we don't regret it. I just, those moments of like thinking about the yearbook, I'm like, but
I was gonna, and I didn't want to interrupt you earlier. I'm interrupting you right now, so my apologies. But I think, and I'm gonna look for it. There is a service where you can order a high school yearbook from any high school any year. There's a service. So if you want, like, and I'm pretty freaking sure. I'm like 99% sure. Okay, listen, you're about to give the coolest present.
That would be the coolest thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Make sure she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Okay. Damn it. I was gonna say, can you please share this podcast? No. I don't want to ruin it for your kid. And she's like, who's that fat guy? It's like, no, don't worry about it. It was a bad interview.
That's so cool.
but anyway, no, that yeah. So I'll look for it after we're done with this, and I'll shoot you the link because I know just seeing the look on your face. It was just like, okay, cool. Yes. There was a reason why I said yes to do this podcast.
I'll go get a bunch of people to sign it, and then I'll fake a bunch of popular kids. No, she was.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, just I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I mean, it's just so like, you know, just writing a yearbook, but like, you know, sorry I couldn't afford it, but you know, I got
that's so cool. My yearbook is so special to me because I could not pass chemistry, and I couldn't pass it, and I had to pass it because you couldn't graduate from high school if you didn't pass chemistry. So I asked the yearbook. I was on the yearbook staff as a photographer. I asked the yearbook director. I go, look, can I get a 2-page spread in the middle for the chemistry teacher? I go, I need to pass chemistry. And Mr. Boffman goes, yes. So I go and I talk to this old chemistry teacher who was about to retire. I said, listen, if you give me a C-, and I'm not asking for a B here, I'm asking for a C-, I'll get you the middle spread in the yearbook. And he goes, okay. So in the Corona High School 1975 yearbook, there's a 2-page spread of this old guy with a beaker.
That's some crazy negotiating.
Yeah.
Wait, was he? How did you know that he wanted a 2-page spread? Did he just talk about it?
It would like a 2-page spread in the yearbook. He was kind of vain.
Absolutely vain. If that's the trade-off, that's.
Well, you know, he didn't even blink. He went, yes, like that.
Because in high school, my physics teacher accidentally slipped during office hours telling me that he used to smoke a bunch of weed when he was in high school. Oh my God. And then so I got a B. I don't know shit about physics, but I got a B.
That's sweet. Yeah, I could never take physics.
Physics was tough. No, because I actually knew some stuff. Yeah, but I was just like, hey, you know what? You're either going to give me that B or you're going to take that L and lose.
Yeah, exactly. Baby. Yeah,
no, I never threatened him. I never threatened him.
No, but cool you didn't need to.
I didn't need to. He was a cool dude. And no, because he said, because he was like, yeah, when I was in high school, I used to smoke a bunch of weed. Just like you. Just like you. He added just like you. And so I was just like, oh, fuck. But it was cool because it's like, I learned right then and there. If you go to office hours and you make friends with a teacher and like on a person-to-person level, you're more likely to pass that class regardless of what scores you get on the final, what scores you get on your presentation, what scores you get on your final term paper. It's
exactly. And further adding to that, if you go to their office hours and they hate the sound of your feet as you go up the hallway to their office because they can't stand your face again, asking them how to do geometry one more time, and they're going to kill themselves. I had this one geometry teacher in college. It was geometric rendering, and I never got through geometry. I shouldn't have been in that class. But he was ready to retire, and he'd hear me clomping down the hallway, and he'd go, "Oh no!" He'd yell, "Oh no, not her!" And it was like the third time I was repeated the class, and he goes, "Listen, just find somebody who knows what they're doing and sit next to them." I go, "Okay." And I found this Japanese foreign exchange student in Fresno State, and I told her the plan, and she goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, that's what we do here." She goes, and so I'm sitting next to her at this table, and the teacher looks at the class and he goes, "All right, we're going to have the test now. Is everyone ready?" Or sitting next to someone who is, and he looks right at me. That's true.
Oh my God. Yeah. I've been on both ends of that spectrum because I also teach. So I extra hate my life during the day. It's just like, oh, well, yeah. Oh, my kid's a saint. And you know what? Your kid might be a saint by themselves. But when these kids get together at school, they turn into a wolf pack. And like everything that you know of them, they're not even the same person. Like if there were to be like a candid camera of what I'm seeing and how they're treating me, it'd be like, my kid doesn't act like that. I'm like, there's video evidence of your kid acting like that. So regardless of what you taught your kid at home, kids change because of peer pressure, their environment, just like us adults, we change because of peer pressure in our environments. And so, they're much like us, but it's much easier to yell at kids and, it is at adults, and you're less likely.
You guys actually, I mean, I love that concept. Do you like sometimes just flip on a video of them acting out, or is your constantly video in the class?
No, none of the above. Like there is no recording of the students whatsoever, which is a great rule. You're not allowed to. And sometimes kids are being dickheads, like in my class. And it's just like, I want to record and be like, dude, do you see how ridiculous you look doing this? And then I had a kid go, I was like, can you please sit down? He's like, yes, daddy. And I was like, okay, listen, dude, I don't know what's going on at home, but don't ever call me that again. Don't ever call me that again. Like, it's just, I don't know what the hell that's from, but I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with anyone calling me that. Not even my own wife, unless it's a Spanish version, unless she calls me papi, but that's, which is different than dad. I don't know. But, everybody has their own thing, but daddy's cool, I guess, but not in a classroom. I've seen like horrible shit go down. I've had to break up fights, like really bad fights, like, like pumpkin face of fights. I swear to God, the worst fights are always the girl fights. They're always more like than the guy fights. There's more like just like, like the ruffling of the feathers with the guys. Chicks get down. Chicks beat ass. Oh, and the hair pulling and this. Oh my God, I was in this high school and it was a and they were both in my class. They were just both in my class, and it was just one of the students had disrespected me. So who I was hoping won that fight, not her, but she won that fight, and I had to break it up because she was whooping the shit out of some other kid. I'm like, damn, that could have been me on the other end of that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sure teachers get hurt a lot trying to break up fights.
Oh, yeah. Teacher. Well, here's the rule. You're not supposed to even intervene in fights. You're supposed to let security handle it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I already see this, like, I don't know what you want to call it, like this humongous bulge. They probably need to go to the hospital about, like, and she didn't go to the hospital, and they don't have a nurse there. They just put an ice pack on there and send her to class. And I'm just like, send her to the hospital. Like, I just broke this fight up. Yeah. That thing was like pulsing at me. Like, it was like, how did you do it? And then like, so like I get in between the fight and break it up. And like the girl like, I still beat that peachy's ass. And I'm just thought she's Mexican. So she had like this big old chichi on her face. And I'm just like, okay, listen, you're not, trust me. I'm protecting you at this point. Like, just stop, please stop. This is not okay. So it's just like, I don't know. And then one of the most vicious fights I ever saw was between two 6-year-olds, two first graders. And this black girl was fucking up this little black kid like hard. It was like, and I was holding her back with one arm, like almost like clotheslining her because, I'm not going to like bear hug a kid. So I went like this, and she like literally was going against my body. And like, she was causing resistance. Like she was
Wow.
like maybe
Six-
like 45 pounds or 40 pounds or something.
Yes.
And she was just like a monster, like trying to whoop that kid's ass. And part of me was trying not to laugh my ass off because it was comical. It was so comical. I was like, oh my God, dude, put up your arms. Like, you know, get in the fetal position, do anything but just stand there and take the punches in the face. Just,
oh God.
oh my God. And I'm just, and then you can't, you know, I had to stop that fight, but that was and then she was cursing and like first grade. And like, yeah, you ain't nothing but a bitch. And I'm like, okay. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna have to write this up, but I have to write this. So like when fights happen and I witness them and or break them up, I have to give a testament of what just happened. And it's just like, okay, so I'm a mandated reporter. So I have to report what just happened, which is, you know, that's a good rule. I think that's a good rule. But sometimes it's like, you know, preventable, like, you know, and like these kids like will go out of their ways just to try to run me off. Like, you know, by telling me that anybody that reads is gay. And if you read, you're gay. It's just like, what? And like this reverse psychology ain't working on me, dude. Like, no. But
I just feel so bad for my grandsons get bullied, and but anyway, you just try to find a good place for them. But
well, it's hard though, because like the way I grew up was just, well, you just sock them in the mouth. And now if you tell a kid that, then they're going to want to talk to you. Why did you tell your kid to do that? We're a peaceful school with peaceful interventions. And
my daughter, my daughter Emily, I when she was like 12, I sent her to Krav Maga. It was way before I started stand up, but I sent her to Israeli street fighting so she'd be safe. And so I told her the other day, I'm like, let's just take I'll pay half. Let's take Ben and Joel. You send him to Krav Maga, and there will be, even if they never use it, they'll know how to punch somebody for being bullied. And you only have to do it once.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. Well, hopefully I just hate bullying. I hate bullying. Like, and I recall at a predominantly Hispanic school, this little white kid was getting bullied because he was white. If you've ever heard of such a, I've never seen it before. I saw it in person. I'm Mexican, like all the other students that were bullying him. And it was just a cultural difference. It was just, he didn't know how to communicate with the other kids. And so I was just like, hey, what's your name? He's like, Dylan. I was like, all right, cool. Here, come over. So I grabbed his hand. I'm like, hey, everybody. Is it cool if Dylan sits with you guys at lunch today and from now on? They're like, yeah, okay. So then he just sat there, and then from now on, he sat with those kids. He was no longer the loner kid.
But teachers can do such good. And I know it's different when you're a sub because you come in and out.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody has a teacher that made them feel like they could survive in this world.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just, but also teachers, though, have motivated me out of negativity. In my 9th grade year, I had a teacher tell me that I read out loud like I'm retarded. She used those words. She said, you use the in private, but still, I could have got her fired. I could have ruined her whole fucking career and everything she's worked so hard for. But I don't know. That's when I found out, at least it was early on, that words do have power. Words do affect people. And, you know, it's just like, hey, I graduated from college. So that lady probably didn't even know I graduated from high school, but it isn't about her. It's about, you know, evolving, getting better, getting, you know, to where you're at now. And so I don't know. I just feel like with like writing new jokes, it's what keeps comedy fresh, because like I'm excited to tell new jokes, new stories, or maybe they're not so new stories because it happened a while ago, but you just remembered them and you get excited about telling new jokes.
There's nothing better than having a new joke. It's like you get so excited when you're driving. You got a new joke tonight. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I have this. I was like laying in bed with my wife, and I came up with this because I have a deviated septum from poor decisions I used to make, and I was breathing, and I found out that I can like an elephant, right? And so I'm in bed with my wife, and I'm just all like, what happens if I tell the audience that I like making love to my wife like animals, and those animals are elephants? And I get on my wife, and I'm just all like, and then I do that elephant sound.
You should raise your arm like this.
Just be all provocative, like add a little despacito type of like. Yeah, you're right. Vicki, you're right. You're like, Victor, you need to make it more sexy. You need to make it more sexy, okay?
The physical, and then of course the trunk is, where it is.
Oh my, yeah. So like I figured that out like right there in bed before the show, and I'm like, I don't have time to open mic this. How do the professionals do it? They go out there with confidence, like they've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
And boom, that's what I did. And it worked. And everyone's like, dude, I never heard you say that joke before. I'm like, I just came up with it. Came up with it.
And that's the best thing that makes your day. When I started stand-up, I didn't know that everyone didn't go to the library and read books about stand-up comedy, because that's what I did. My husband at the time, he worked at UCSD, Jono, the girl's dad, and I could order any book in the world in the UC catalog, and it'd be delivered.
Oh, that's so awesome!
I read like 20 or 30 books written mostly in the 40s and 50s about comedy, a few in the 60s, and there was always this argument about Saturday night. You save your best jokes for Saturday night, and you save your new jokes. Some comics said, save your new jokes for Saturday night when you have the best audience, and then you'll see if they're good or not. Then some people go, well, you're risking losing your audience on a Saturday. But I think that overwhelmingly, those old comics said, save your new stuff for Saturday night.
Okay, well, in this case, I was so pumped up. I'm gonna remember that. But
that's your Saturday night.
Mr. Saturday Night. Yeah, Mr. New Material. Because some people, we all know the people that have the same act that they've had for decades.
Right.
And it's just there's nothing wrong with switching some stuff up. And that's I don't know. Like for me, it's not even about pride. It's about like getting new fans, making sure that the old ones still support me by knowing that I'm still coming through with new stories, new ideas, and new jokes. And so I just want to make sure, I don't know, it sucks though, because you try to make everybody happy. I literally had a producer of a comedy show tell me in front of another comic, hey dude, really good shit tonight, but you didn't do your elephant joke. What's up with that? And I was like, I ran out of time, dude. And he's like, no, dude, when I book you, I love to hear that joke. I want you to say that joke every time you're here. And I was like, what the fuck?
Most comedy producers aren't funny.
That's pretty funny and pretty accurate.
I mean, true. It's very rare when that's not the case. They're producing shows because they should be. Thank God. Oh, that's so rude. I can't believe. Oh, well, I can't take it back now.
No. But also though, I know what you're saying, but that's I'm not the thing about producers though is when they're not comics and they think that they know what it's like to be a comic because they're always around comics but never go on stage. And so like for me, like that's just kind of like, oh, well, this is how you need to do comedy. I'm like, well, you're not even a comic. So
I know. Yeah, that just makes me want to just, ugh. It's like, whatever. You can't teach comedy. You can't, I think I think comedy classes are a good thing for people when they start, because then it makes you show up each week with material, but you never should listen to the teacher. That'd be an awful idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, yeah, this is how you could be more like me as a comedian. Is exactly. If you want to be like Victor Pacheco when you go on stage, buy my course. But like, I don't know. I've only heard of like one teacher who like goes out and watches their students who pay, and then they curtail each lesson. Like, so it isn't like a class or seminar. It's just like one-on-one coaching type of thing. But everybody has their own shtick. Everybody has their own, right. I don't know, their own gimmick. But like one thing that I thought was pretty cool is you're an ordained minister. And you have your own company. You founded the company, the Wedding Chapel to Go. And I recently got asked by one of my fans to officiate their wedding. And I was wondering if you had any advice on how to, what it takes to be a great wedding officiator.
It's so much work. You make sure you charge enough money, because it's so hard and it's so much scarier than doing a comedy show. Because if you screw up a comedy show, oh, you screwed up a comedy show. If you screw up a wedding, you screwed up their life. So you have to the pressure is, to me, so immense. I've gotten used to it now, but man, when I started, I was like terrified. And I get to know the couple, I get to know their history, how they met, like their dynamics, and then I write the ceremony about them. I mean, I have a quickie method, a quickie marriage if they want it, but most of the time it just takes a lot of meetings, time. I send them basically the script, we go over it, and that's how it is for me. So yeah, you get to know them, and then you make it about them, all about them. And the good thing though that about our wedding chapel to go, and I think that separates this from any other one, is we offer a $29.95 half-hour honeymoon in the back of the van.
Oh my God, that gets me every fucking time. That's so
true.
fucking funny. That's so fucking funny.
It's unique. I did this one show for these really rich people, really nice people in San Luis Obispo, and their parents were in trash. Both of them are in trash. One's recycle family, one's trash family. It's like they merged these two people together like a kingdom to get married and make a giant trash conglomerate. Such nice. Anyway, so they get married at Madonna Inn. So I bring the van up there. We do the wedding in a beautiful garden. We met them. We got to know them. A personalized wedding. Lovely time. Beautiful. But then she wants to press this gown into the back of my Ford Transit van for the $29.95 half-hour honeymoon. And everybody's standing around. It's a video opportunity. But I mean, this I don't know, this gown might have cost $50,000. I don't know. I mean, it was as big as this hotel room. And we kept pushing and pushing all this gown in. It took like 12, 13 minutes to load this gown in, close the door. I mean, we wrecked that gown.
Oh my God. That's incredible. That's okay. That's incredible. I hope my world of wedding officiating is as colorful as that. I mean, because that's a high bar of just the really cool factor, really unique factor. I don't think anyone could top that. That's hilarious. Yeah, we're trying to fit this dress in this little hatch.
Oh my God. The first time my daughter went with me, Danny Wolf, producer, he was working for Playboy Channel, and he asked me to bring the van up to Las Vegas. And there was a show called My First Threesome or something like that, where people had their first threesome. So they wanted to renew their vows before the threesome to kind of get their lives straight before they had a threesome. So we renewed their vows, and then they did it in the back of the van. And they really shook that van up. But my daughter Emily came with me, and she wanted me to throw the sheets away. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to Walmart and buy another set of sheets every time somebody uses them. And so I put them in like 2 plastic bags so she didn't gross out.
Yeah, that would get really expensive. Or bring your own sheets.
Forget it. I'm washing in hot water. It's hermetically sealed and safe.
Yeah, that's what's important. As long as people are safe and you know where the line is.
I'm not a pig. Yeah. But Emily was so prudy. Oh, Mom.
Well, I mean, that's that's the thing about innovation. Not everyone's always on board. Even the ones closest to you, the ones that you love. There's like doubt. I don't know. I grew up Mexican. It's like, no, mijo, don't do that. You're gonna embarrass the family. It's like, okay, well, we'll see. But it's like
this has been so much fun, and I got my eyelashes on.
Oh, absolutely.
Down to the theater for my sound check.
Oh yeah, no, this is awesome. I want to be respectful of your time. So
I had much fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. Before we go, I just want to ask one last question. Where can the people find you? Or is there anything you want to plug?
Well, you can find me on VickiBarbolakComedy.com or Vicki Barbolak on all the social. But the thing I'm loving most right now is my best friend Sean Pavlovsky and I have Trailer Park Diaries. Bill Burr's company, All Things Comedy, produces it for us. And we're season 2, 1 and 2 are both out, Trailer Park Diaries. It's episodic. We read from these diaries we find in our trailer park and we enhance them. And then we talk about things we should not talk about because we forget we're on podcast. Yes. But we've had a ball. We have a different cocktail at the beginning of every episode, and super fun. So Trailer Park Diaries on all podcast platforms.
Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah, be sure to check that out and follow Vicki everywhere. And do yourself a favor, catch her live and support her. She's very great. Again, Vicki, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on Papicock Podcast. And I want to thank everyone at home for listening in. So thank you, everybody, and see you next time.
Right on, Victor.
Thanks, Vicki. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much. And thanks again.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, do your boy a favor. Tell your friends, tell your cool family members, tell your cool coworkers, let them know about the podcast, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and be sure to follow me on all social media, Puro Papi Pacheco, and check out my website at HispanicTitanic.com for future dates. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.